So good morning students. In the last video we discussed about the internal and the external respiration, where we discussed breathing and cellular respiration, right? So in this video we will be discussing about the mechanism of breathing, right? That how we breathe, how we inhale and how we exhale. Okay, so let's start the topic now, mechanism of breathing. And here you can see I have drawn the human respiratory system. Okay, so let's start now. So what are the different human respiratory organs that work in the breathing process? So human respiratory system, it consists of nose, like this is the nose and these two are the nostrils. Okay, so we breathe in through the nose also and we breathe in through mouth also. Okay, so nose and the nostrils. So the air from our nose, it will go to the nostrils, and from the nostrils it will pass to the nasal passage or nasal cavity, and same the air from the mouth, it will be passing to the nasal cavity. Okay, then after this, now in the nasal cavity, what is there? There is mucus and hair present. Okay, and what is the function of mucus and hair is that they are going to trap the dust particles that enter along with the air we breathe. Okay, so all the unwanted dust particles, they are being trapped by the mucus and the hair that is present in the nasal cavity. But it happens sometimes that these dust particles, they are not trapped, right, and they move forward, so they cause irritation in the lining of the nasal cavity, right? So now we have to remove these substances. So these are basically removed when we sneeze. So during sneezing, chinkna, right? So during sneezing, these foreign particles, the dust particles, they are moved out. Okay, and the clean air, it passes through the windpipe. Okay, so here you can see trachea, the windpipe. Okay, so the air from the nostrils, it passes to the nasal passage, and from the nasal passage or nasal cavity, it passes to the trachea or windpipe. Okay, so next. Now here the windpipe is divided into two thin tubes. As you can see, this is the windpipe, right? And this is divided into two thin tubes, and these two thin tubes, we call them as bronchi, right? So I have labeled them, this and this, we call them as bronchi, right? These bronchi, they enter the lungs. Okay, so these I have shown the right lung and the left lung. Okay, so these bronchi, they enter the lung, where each bronchi, you can see this is one bronchi and this is second. Now these are further divided into thinner tubes, like you can see. In this way they are being divided, right? So these tubes, we call them as bronchioles, that I have mentioned here. So the bronchi, it separates into two thinner tubes that we called as bronchioles, sorry. Okay, so these are the bronchioles, these are the bronchi, right? Bronchi, they further divided into bronchioles, right? So after bronchioles, we will be discussing about the diaphragm. Okay, so what diaphragm is actually? So this diaphragm, it is a muscular sheet that separates the chest cavity from the abdominal cavity, right? So this diaphragm is going to separate the upper chest cavity and the lower, the abdominal cavity, right? The lungs, they are present in the, or you can say the lungs, they are present in the chest cavity. And they are covered by ribs. So here I have shown you both the internal and the external structure of the lungs, right? So this is the internal part where the lungs, they contain the bronchi, bronchioles and alveoli. And this is the outer part where I am showing the lungs that are covered with the rib cage. Okay, so lungs and the ribs, they are forming the chest cavity. Okay, so now coming to the next, this is very important thing, alveoli. Now what are alveoles? Or in singular we call them as alveolus. So these are the air sacs that you can see, right? Each bronchioles, they end at the air sacs, which we called as alveoli, right? Alveoles, they are the site of exchange of gases. That means here in the alveoli, the carbon dioxide and the oxygen gases, they are exchanged. Now how they are exchanged? Basically these alveoles, they are covered, or you can say they are surrounded by blood capillaries. Right? So the alveoles, they are basically surrounded with the blood capillaries, okay? And the walls of the alveoli, they are very thin. So that means oxygen and carbon dioxide gas, they can readily exchange between these alveoles and the blood capillaries. Okay? So now what is going to be happen is, see, the air that we inhale, right? The air that we inhale, it passes to the nasal cavity. From the nasal cavity, it will move to the windpipe. From the windpipe, it will be going to trachea, right? Sorry, from the windpipe, that is the trachea, it will be going to the bronchi, okay? And from the bronchi, it will be going into the bronchioles. And from the bronchioles, it will be going into the alveoli, okay? So what I said is nasal cavity, right? For the air, from the nasal cavity to windpipe, from windpipe to bronchi, that basically opens in the lungs, okay? From bronchi to bronchioles and bronchioles to alveoli. Since the walls of the alveoles, they are very thin, right? So they can readily exchange with the blood capillaries here. Right, because alveoles, they are surrounded by blood capillaries, so oxygen from the alveoli, it will be going to the blood capillaries. Now what is going to be happen now, right? When this oxygen from the alveoli, it moves to the blood capillaries, oxygen combined with blood is going to form oxyhemoglobin, because the blood, it contains hemoglobin, right? So oxygen combined with the hemoglobin of the blood, it will be giving you oxyhemoglobin, right? Now this oxyhemoglobin, that is present in the blood, right? So the oxygen, in this way, it will be transported to the all body parts. And how the carbon dioxide is exhaled out, okay? So the blood capillaries, there are also blood capillaries that are rich in carbon dioxide. Okay, so two type of blood capillaries we are discussing, that are rich in oxygen, and the blood capillaries that are rich in carbon dioxide. Okay, so the blood capillaries that are rich in carbon dioxide, right, they will move, or you can say they will take all the carbon dioxide from your body, right, and they will be reaching here, alveoles. So all the carbon dioxide, it moves to the alveoles, and from the alveoli, it moves to the lungs, right? And from the lungs, the air that contains the carbon dioxide, it will be expelled out, right? So from the lungs, carbon dioxide is expelled out, again through the windpipe, nasal cavity, and through the nose. Okay, so in this way, the exchange of gases through the alveoli, it takes place. Now, the question is that when we are breathing, when we are inhaling and when we are exhaling, right? And how the respiratory organs, they are basically changing their position when we are breathing, right? So let's discuss this thing now, that how the respiratory organs, they are changing their position and when it is basically indicated to inhale and to exhale. Okay, breathing mechanism, it basically takes place with the help of intercostal muscles, right? And these muscles, they are present between the ribs and the diaphragm. Now what are these intercostal muscles? These are the muscles that are basically present between the ribs and they form the chest cavity. So that means movement of the muscles between the ribs and the diaphragm, right? It is going to give you the inhalation and the exhalation process. Okay, so now for studying this process of breathing, that how the ribs, the chest cavity, it moves, how the ribs they move, right? And what is the effect of diaphragm, movement or the position of the diaphragm in case of inhalation and exhalation process. So let's discuss this. Here I am having a simple apparatus with me, right, that is going to show you the breathing mechanism. Okay, so this I have prepared at home, right, using the straws, the bottle and the balloons, and you can also prepare it. Okay, so now for the inhalation process and for the exhalation process, so let's discuss firstly the inhalation process. So here what I have shown you in this is, right, so these basically the inner balloons you can see, right, they are the lungs. These two tubes, they are acting as the bronchi. Okay, and this is the nasal passage from where the air will be inhaled. Okay, so the inhaled air, it will be moving to the bronchi, bronchi to the lungs, and this is the muscular sheet that I have basically shown you in the diagram also, and here this muscular sheet, it is acting as the diaphragm. Okay, so this blue sheet you can see, this is the diaphragm now. Okay, so let's discuss now, okay, what is going to happen in inhalation process. Firstly, the diaphragm, it contracts and it moves downwards. Okay, and what will happen to the ribs? The ribs, they will be pulled upwards and outwards. Upward means their position will change to a little upward, right, and a little outward, that means they are going to expand. So what is going to give you this? The space inside the chest cavity, the space inside the lungs and the ribs, it is going to be increased. So when the space is more, the air will rush in, okay, into the lungs, and your lungs will expand with the air. So whatever I have told you here, so let's see how this is going to happen. Now see, this is the normal position. This is the normal position of diaphragm. Okay, so you can see here, right, the balloons, they are empty. The balloons, that means the lungs, they are not filled with air at this moment, right, when the diaphragm is at its normal position. Now you have to see clearly what is going to be happened. What we are saying for the inhalation, we have to basically push the diaphragm downwards. So let's do this. Now when the diaphragm is pushed downward, right, by pushing it downward, the space inside the chest cavity will increase and the lungs will expand, because the air that will come from here, right, it will move to the lungs. So let's see. Now I am basically contracting it and moving it downward. So see, the lungs, they are filled with air. So can you see? Yes, can you see? When I am pushing it downward, the lungs, they are filled with the air, right? So this is the inhalation process. Now the air, right, it will be inhaled now and it will be going into the lungs. From the lungs, it will be going to the bronchi, bronchioles, and to the alveoli, from the alveoli to the blood vessels, and then finally to the all body parts. Now what happens in case of exhalation process? So for the exhalation process, the diaphragm, it relaxes to its original position, and this is the original position of the diaphragm when it basically moves upward. So this is the normal position. Here you can see the lungs, they contract. There is no air present in the lungs, right? So when the diaphragm is moved to its original position, ribs, they are pushed downwards and upwards, inwards. And what happens to the space? The space inside the chest cavity, it decreases, right? So that means whatever air is going to be inside it, it is going to be rushed out now. Okay, so the air that is in the lungs, that means the air rich in carbon dioxide that is present in the lungs, it will be moving out now. Okay, when the diaphragm, it is basically moved upward. So this is the normal position. So let me show you inhalation and exhalation process now. So this is the exhalation. Now here the lungs, they are not filled with air, they contract. Okay, so now they will be giving out all the carbon dioxide rich air, and when we have to receive the air, right, the diaphragm is moved downward, right, the air is rushed in, the air rich in oxygen is rushed in. So this is how, okay, diaphragm moves downward, the lungs, they expand. Diaphragm moves upward, the lungs, they contract. So you can see in this way we breathe in and we breathe out. Okay, so this is the process of inhalation and exhalation in case of human beings. So far what we have discussed the respiration in human beings. Now we will be discussing the respiration in case of other organisms. So starting from the insects. So insects including grasshopper and cockroaches. So what is there in the respiration? So like we inhale the air through our nostrils. So in the similar way, the insects, they inhale the air, the oxygen rich air, through their spiracles. These are the tiny openings that are present on their body. Okay, so through these openings the air it enter, and they are also having a tube like structures, right? A network of structure, like we are having the bronchioles in our body. In the similar way, they are having a thin network of structure of air tubes that we called as trachea. Okay, so then the air from the spiracles, it will move to the trachea, and through the trachea it will diffuse into the body tissues. Okay, so the body tissues, through the body tissues it will be moving to the whole body part, and there it will be performing the process of respiration. That means the breakdown of the food will be there using this oxygen, and the carbon dioxide is released in this process along with the energy also. So energy is used by the organism, and the carbon dioxide that is released, it will again move back to the tracheal tubes. So these are the tracheal tubes that I have shown. Okay, so from the tracheal tubes it will be again moving out of the body through the spiracles. So this I have shown you the spiracles and trachea. Spiracles, these small openings, we call them as spiracles, and these spiracles, they basically enter into a network of air tubes that we called as trachea. So this is about the respiration in insects. Coming to the respiration in earthworms. So you know the earthworms, they are having the slimy and the moist skin. Okay, so they respire through this thin and the moist skin. Okay, that readily help them to exchange the gases. Next is respiration in frogs. You know frogs, they can both live on land and water. So when they are present on the land, they will respire through the pair of lungs like we human beings, we respire. Okay, and when they are present in water, they will respire through their moist skin. Okay, right? We all know fish, it is having a special breathing organ that we called as gills. Okay, so through the gills, the fish, they take the dissolved oxygen that is present in the water. Okay, now here the one thing is that the gills, they are richly supplied with blood vessels. Okay, and these blood vessels, they will help the fish to take the oxygen Then it will be sent to all body parts for carrying out the respiration process, right? So the respiration process, after this the energy will be released and carbon dioxide gas again it will be released. So carbon dioxide gas, it is again brought back to the blood, that will move to the gills, and from the gills it will be out of the body, right? So it will go into the surrounding water. So this is how the fish, they respire through their gills. Okay, coming to the next is respiration in whales and dolphins. Whales and dolphins, they also respire, right? But they respire with the help of lungs. So they have to come out from the water time to time. Okay, so they are having nostrils, or we call them as blowholes, that are present on their top of the body. Okay, so when they release the oxygen gas, along with it some water is also released, so it appears like a fountain of water is coming out. Okay, so this is actually the carbon dioxide gas that is being released from the body along with some water. Okay, and coming to the third part is respiration in plants now. So how the plants respire? We know the plants, they make their own food, right? So C6H12O6, that is the stored glucose plus oxygen, they will respire using the oxygen, and it gets converted into carbon dioxide, water, and energy is released in this process. Now all the plant parts of the plants, they respire individually. We have studied about the leaves, that leaves, they contain stomata which help in the exchange of gases. So in the similar way, there are root cells that also respire. Okay, the roots, they contain the root hairs, and these root hairs, they are basically in contact with the soil. Okay, and you know the soil, it contains air particles. Okay, so basically what is going to be happened is, from the soil, these root hairs, they will be taking the air, that is oxygen. Okay, and using this oxygen, the root cells, they will respire. So the root hairs, they will take the oxygen from the air, right, that is present in the soil, and they will undergo the process of respiration. Again carbon dioxide that is produced, it will be again out from the root hairs. Okay, but here is one question, that what will happen to the plant if we overwater it for a long time? Okay, so when you are overwatering it, that means you are giving excess amount of water to it, then basically the air pores or the air spaces that are present in the soil, they will be filled with the water now. Okay, so there will be deficiency of air in the soil. Okay, so if it is not getting enough oxygen, enough air, so the root cells, they will not be able to respire, and ultimately your plant will die, right? So this is all about your chapter of respiration. Okay, so I hope this chapter is clear to you. Thank you.